Good morning. I've been told I've got 2 minutes, so I'm Jim Smith from the St. John's team. It's all laid out. The details of our team members are there. I would like to thank Lisa McIndoe as our coach because she kept me on task, which is a challenge. I'm sure she'll tell you. St. John's had the benefit of being part of the Be the Change Alabama project, so we were a little bit ahead of the curveball on some of the fundamental principles, although they were worthwhile for review. And so our project with MEI was an extension of our project with Be the Change, which was an English as a second language class. And we knew at Be the Change when we set up the English as a second language class that it wasn't just a project in and of itself and to be done with it. We tried to get it established, and it has borne itself out to be a project that leads to other projects. And in this case, with the MEI program, it's led to developing reach out to this primarily Hispanic community for immigration issues. Julie has convinced me that there's no such thing as coincidence. So when the Trump administration came in, was elected, and this is no political agenda, it just was no coincidence that by virtue of our ESL class sitting there having needs to learn English as a second language, that it became evident that immigration was going to become an issue. Regardless of however position you take on immigration, there were going to be issues before us, and so that's why we pursued it. And so where we are today is we've done the research to figure out where we start, and we're going to have to start small. Immigration law is very complex. It's all governed by the United States Justice Department. We all know who our new Attorney General is. And we are starting with immigration form assistance. In other words, you can go online and pull up the forms that immigrants need to submit to the Immigration Department to pursue whatever they need to pursue, to get whatever classification they need to get. Our vision is to move, once we get that set in place, to move on. We've learned, for instance, that nonprofit organizations can qualify to advocate for immigrants in the U.S. immigration courts. You don't necessarily need to be a member of a bar or a member of the immigration court to go before it to advocate for a particular immigrant. That's a long way away, I can assure you, because in between there, and as I was telling Walker and Rob, we are researching the possibility, and I can't put enough emphasis on the term researching the possibility of finding space on the St. John's campus to become a sanctuary for immigrants. There is a building that's behind St. John's. If you come in on Gordon Drive, there's a 3-story building that holds primarily the St. John's it's the St. John's Episcopal Center, but in it is the Community Free Clinic and some other nonprofits. But they've got a basement down there that goes unused with running water, and I don't know what was down there, but it's not just a dusty old, dank, unused piece of space. It's been used before. And so where we go from here is we first start reaching out to these folks with any help they seem to need with trying to get their forms filled out to protect them. From there, we'll see what their needs are. From there, we'll depend on what the Trump administration pursues as far as sanctuaries go. And if that's a possibility, I don't think we're afraid to pursue it. And then we'll go from there with perhaps the goal being setting up a nonprofit to get those qualified to go over to Atlanta and advocate for immigrants.
Amen.
So.